I invite you to join me in welcoming to the stage Chef Rudi.
Good morning. Welcome to this morning's episode of the Whole Spirit Network Food Channel. This morning we feature one of the finest foods known to humankind, fresh organic kale. Now, I don't know, how many of you are fans of fresh organic kale here like I am? I absolutely love the stuff. I've been cooking it for years, mostly just taking the leaves off the ribs. It's important. People think they chop the ribs into the kale and then they think, ooh, this kale's bitter and really chewy, where if they had just taken a minute to de-rib each leaf, and it only takes a moment. If you do it, get some practice like I have, it goes real quick. And then you just chop it up real fine. Well, real fine for me means like 1 or 2 inch squares, you know. My style of cooking is not about refined, kind of messy. So that's the way I've been cooking it for years, just like that, with a sauteed little olive oil and garlic, onions, 5-10 minutes, perfect meal, quick like that. But recent research into the nature of leafy greens like kale reveals something very interesting. If you get the kale from the market, like I do at the farmer's market as often as possible, you go ahead and wash it and tear it off the stem and crush it, tear it, massage it a little bit. An amazing thing happens. If you leave it overnight in the refrigerator, covered, preferably in an airtight bag, if you take this torn kale that's been torn into pieces and massaged a little bit, the next day when you go to cook it, first of all, it's gotten easier to work with. It's already crushed in small pieces. But it has magically increased its nutritional value almost 100%. There's something about it, you know, you'll have to ask a botanist, some scientist here. I am a chef and not a very good one, and no scientist at all. But I do know that kale in its natural state is extremely rich in vitamins and minerals, in antioxidants and phytochemicals. But what happens is in the wild, originally, when the ancestors of kale were growing in the fields and a deer or antelope, a buffalo would come and chew on it and tear a piece off with its teeth, and a cow would chew, or a buffalo would chew. It wouldn't have a nice clean cut with a knife. It would chew, it would tear, it would masticate, macerate. The plant would automatically send additional nutrients to that tear, to that scar in the plant to help it heal and help it continue to grow. It also somehow knew to send a little extra bitterness so it wouldn't be quite as attractive to that same sheep or antelope that came to eat again the next day. And so by simply tearing and massaging and leaving your kale for 24 hours, you increase its nutritional value, you make it easier to work with, and you make it that much more fun to eat the kale and much more healthy for your body. You say, well, that's nice, Rudi. I'm glad you told me that, but why are you bothering to tell me that here at the Celebration Circle? Well, it's because this morning I'm here to focus on busting loose, breaking free of our limitations. And many of us feel that our lives have been torn and broken by circumstances, by disease, by someone in our family getting hurt or hurting us, a relationship broken, a job lost. We feel broken, and we feel like we're less than because we're just a piece. We're no longer part of something whole. And I'm here to posit the metaphor, that it is precisely that brokenness that gives you extra juice, that gives you extra resources, that gives you extra ability to be who you are truly here to be in all your brokenness, in all your fear and loss, as well as in your magnificence, your hope, and your wholeness. They're not separate from each other. They are one and the same. In our illusion, we think, or if only I could be whole again, back with the rest of my head, if I could be just whole and perfect. But in fact, we're all torn. You just think you're the only one. We're all confused. You just think everybody else around you is more confident than you are. In fact, I would venture to guess there's not a person in this room who hasn't been crushed or felt like it. And yet there's not a person in this room which is not whole, perfect, and complete in all your magnificence, because that's who God, Spirit, life created you to be. That is the truth. And we forget because we feel all apart. I'm lonely. Way over here. I'm way over here by myself in my own little apartment and nobody knows or cares about me and my sorrow, my pain, my daddy dying, my littleness. And again, we are called to gather and remember our wholeness, our perfection. We're called to remember that we're not victims of our wounds, but called to be in the process of winning. Simply by remembering we cannot lose. There is no losing. There is no place that is so broken, so lonely, so scary, so sad that it is not part of the healing process, not part of making you even juicier and more nutritious and more available to the realness of life. And yes, I know there's only so far I can stretch this metaphor, but because I've gone this far, I'm going to stretch it a little bit further. None of us are alone because we're a part of a wholeness. Each one of us, no matter where we think we are really part of a wholeness. And that's what we're here to practice on Sunday. When we say we are one, that's a nice bumper sticker. It makes for a nice song. But more than that, it is a call to remember that in that oneness we're whole and to feel that wholeness grounding in our being. And if I may stretch my metaphor just a little bit further yet, each one of us is not only whole and complete, but we are grounded in our beingness with, I call it God. Because I was born and raised a Christian, I have no problem having a personal relationship with an impersonal God who I know nothing about. It's total mystery how God works. I don't even bother to call her name very often because we're in constant communication. But that's how I say it. How you say it is your business, whether you're grounded in your Buddha-ness or you're grounded in your goddess-ness or you're grounded in Mother Earth. That's just a matter of semantics as far as I can tell. In the reality, we're called to get out of our heads and our ideas and our separation and out here, who am I in relation with God, and to get grounded in this moment, in this body, in this beautiful whole head of kale, which we really are, and to feel that there is a healing force, a spirit, all around us. Now, if even a head of kale knows to send healing forces to its wounds, how about a conscious being like you and I? What resources do we have available at whatever point we feel broken and lost or scared? We are invited to use the conscious gift that we've been given, the gift of consciousness we've been given, to get present into our bodies and feel ourselves connected, grounded in love, in light. Again, I use the word God unabashedly, unashamedly, but I'm not here to tell you it's God. I'm here to tell you, however, that it is. It absolutely is. The life force is flowing through you, always has been, always will be, particularly as you and I remember to invoke it and allow it, invite it, in where it's always been, It can't be separate from us, but as we align with the divine and make ourselves available through prayer, through meditation, through qigong, through gardening, through whatever the vessel is, as we make ourselves available in our bodies to that free flow of healing spirit, to the reminder that we are one, to the awareness that there is no place separate from the wholeness. Then we're called to remember this beautiful line. You heard it once as Zet read it earlier, but I want to read it to you again. Put down the weight of your aloneness and ease into the conversation. The kettle is singing. The kitchen kettle is singing. The cooking pots have left their aloofness. And the birds and the creatures of the world are unutterably themselves. Everything is waiting for you. To feel abandoned is to deny the intimacy of your surroundings. To feel abandoned is to turn your back on the whole of your inheritance. Imagine that a rich uncle died unexpectedly and left you $10 million, and you got a phone call from the lawyer saying, hey, you've just inherited $10 million. Would you turn your back on and say, no, I can't accept that. I never did like that uncle. He didn't like me. I'm broken. I'm not worthy. I can't receive. No. I know for sure that if I offered my son a bag of gummy bears, he wouldn't turn it down and say, oh, no, they're bad for my teeth, Dad. Or I don't deserve it, I didn't behave really well yesterday. No, he would take those gummy bears. Why then, when the world is offering you a legacy of unlimited good, well-being, and love, would you turn back on it and say, well, I'm too alone, I'm too broken. And yet you, and I'm talking to myself, we do time and time again. And we're here to remember, to savor, the sweetness of knowing we are one. That's my story. It's my recipe. I'm sticking to it. Got this little song I'd like to play for you, and then invite you into a space of meditation as we remember, feel, radiate our truth together. Faith, willing to be changed, welcoming the strange, letting go of habits. Hope, it's a celebration, more than a sensation, more than you'd imagine. Stand, face into the storm. Feel the wind blow, feel your faith growing. Stand, knowing you're just human, but opening to God. You are not alone. Faith, working in the dark, searching for the light, living right in the middle. Hope, growing in your soul, Listen to your heart. You can solve the riddle. Stand, face into the storm. Feel the wind blow. Feel your faith growing. Stand, knowing you're just human, but opening to life. You are not alone. Faith, willing to be burned, willing to unlearn your need to avoid sorrow. Hope, burning with the flame, never be the same. Welcoming tomorrow. Stand, faith into the storm. Feel the wind blow. Feel your faith growing. Stand, knowing you're just human, but opening to life. You are not alone. You are not alone. You are not alone. With eyes open or eyes closed, simply be where you are. Whether sitting or standing, whether living with heart wide open or heart clutched tight, cracked and bleeding, in this moment, simply let go of your need to be anywhere other than where you are now, as you are now. For who you are is perfect. And how you are is just the way it is in this moment. Separate from any judgments or feelings you may have about it, sink into this moment and feel there is nothing but love. That underneath everything else is this awareness of peace and wholeness and well-being. You might say, well, that's okay for you, but I don't feel that. I can't feel that love. I don't feel that peace. Can you let go of your judgment of not being able to feel it and simply be with what is? And your willingness to be present. Just present. That's all that spirit, all that life, all that God asks of you. Is to be present in the fullness of who you are. Allowing who you are becoming to unfold in its own time, in its own way. in this moment. All is well. Feeling that wellness and wholeness for yourself, I invite you to send forth that awareness to another person, persons, or situation without needing to fix or change anyone or anything. Send forth your love, your light, your blessing, your awareness of the truth of who we are. To embrace another person, persons, or situation with arms of love. And if you're willing to do so, perhaps you could even go a little further and consciously choose to embrace a person, persons, or situation which have been challenging or problematic for you in recent times. Send forth your love and your blessing, your awareness that there is nothing in your life which is not here for your highest good. In ways you may or may not understand, feel your willingness to simply send forth love and blessing. Holding the truth of your oneness as being the truth for all beings everywhere. And now simply broadcasting that awareness to all of creation. Send forth your love, your light, magnified and multiplied by your willingness to be an instrument of healing, a vessel of love. May you, may we, and all beings be blessed by your willingness to do this. And so it is. You are not alone. Amen.